testify that dreams come true. They honestly do. This video is sponsored by Converse. I mean, guys, come on. I wore Converse to my first homecoming. I wore them throughout my whole entire childhood. I had a pair of black high-top Converse that I wore for like years, all through elementary school, to the point where my mom had to throw them away in the middle of the night because they were so nasty, because I was gonna cry if I knew she'd throw them. So now we have like 8 pairs of different colors of Chuck Taylors in our closet right now. I'm so excited. We are obsessed. Okay, so in honor of my obsession with Chuck Taylors and everything about them, we are doing 2 DIYs today on the Chuck Taylors, and we are showing how to style them as well. So let's get started. Woo.
To begin, I'm going to show y'all how I'm going to decorate my Converse Chuck Taylor black high tops to show off my spunky personality. For your supplies, you need some faux black fur, a needle and thread, some scissors, a ruler, and of course, your black high top Converse. The first step is to take the white laces out of your Converse so that you have a blank canvas to start working on decorating your shoe. Once you've taken your laces out of your shoe, you're going to take your ruler. I have a very beautiful hot pink ruler that I'm going to be using today. And then you're just going to measure the width and the length of the tongue of your shoe so that you can measure your fur to be the same measurements. Now you're going to take your faux fur, and there is a furry side and then a flat side. You're going to want to make sure that the fur is face down and you're measuring on the flat side. And you're going to measure the same length and width that you had on the tongue of your shoe, and then you're going to cut out that portion of your fur. As you guys can see, I'm using my fingers to mark the measurements, and that's because I don't want the cuts to be perfect. My style is a little bit messier and more unique and asymmetrical, so I'm going to let the cuts be the same way. If you look at the top of your tongue on your Converse, the edges are rounded, so we're going to be cutting the fur so that the edges are rounded as well so that they better fit the tongue of the shoe. Now while you cut, the fur does shed, so make sure you have a lint roller handy because it kind of gets everywhere. Now that we've got our perfectly measured piece of fur, we're going to take the flat side of that fur, put it against the tongue of our shoe, and start sewing it on with some needle and thread. Now, you do not have to be a professional seamstress to do this. I definitely am not the best at sewing, but you can just take a needle and thread, kind of throw some stitches on there just to get it to stay on, because the fur will cover your stitches, so they really don't need to look that pretty. If you don't want to sew, you can use fabric glue. I'm just sewing so that it lasts and stays on a little bit longer. Once you're done sewing, you can take your laces, whatever color you choose. I chose black because I like the look of it all being chic and black and sleek, and then I'm just gonna lace up my shoes. I personally, when I lace up my shoes, don't lace them up all the way so that the fur can kind of stick out a little bit on the tongue, and now I have completed my personalized Converse.
Tonight we're running on the right track.
For my first outfit, I'm doing more of a holiday look, and I'm styling my shoes a little bit more dressed up with some black lacy socks, a black tulle skirt, and a red tied checker flannel for the holidays. And on top, I've rolled my sleeves a little bit, and I've added a cute little simple necklace to kind of dress it up, but also keep it very simple like my style.
Oh, I just wanna have a good time, so call me whenever.
For my second outfit, I'm leaving it a little bit more casual. Of course, I've got my black high top for Converse, I've got my black high-waisted skinny jeans, and on top I've paired it with a stripy turtleneck long sleeve shirt, and I put a jean jacket on top to give it a little bit more of a street-chic style, just like me. Guys, so now that you've learned that one, it's time to learn a second DIY, and I'm going to be doing it on my Converse Chuck Taylor white high tops. So to start with the tools you need for this DIY, you need a cut mat. Along with a cut mat, you also need white leather or vinyl. And then of course, you also have to have a hole puncher, but this is just a fancy looking version of that we found at our craft store. Along with small scissors, those aren't necessary, but they help. A little poker that helps poke through the leather, real scissors, a pencil, and of course you also need the outline that we will be using for the DIY, along with an X-Acto knife and a ruler, and then of course our Chuck Taylors. So let's get started. Step number 1. So we are going to take this pattern that we found online and we are going to cut it out to help out with our DIY today. So once we have cut it out, we're gonna go ahead and take our white vinyl / leather, whichever one you decide to use, both work, and we are gonna go ahead and lay that out with the back side up. Once you've laid your vinyl / leather out, go ahead and take one of the patterns that you previously cut out, lay it on the back, and trace it with a pencil. Next step, take those big scissors and cut out the pattern we just traced. It's a handy-dandy ruler time! So take that ruler and measure on the back of the pattern that you just cut out 3/4 of an inch from the top, and you'll just mark a little line on both sides and then trace that line. This line is going to indicate where you will stop cutting when you cut out your tassels. That way you don't cut a strip out, you just want it to hang like a cute little tassel. Alright y'all, now that you've done that, take your X-Acto knife, and I gotta be honest y'all, this is probably one of the first times I've used an X-Acto knife, and I was so excited. So what I did was, I just used my ruler to trace along those lines that we had previously just drawn on the back of our leather, and used our X-Acto knife to cut them out. That way you can get that adorable tassel look. Okay, you guys, I know it was a while ago, but remember the paper pattern that we cut out very first? We're gonna take one of those patterns and line it up with the one we've been using, and you're going to see 2 X's in the corners. We're going to take our little puncher tool and just punch a hole that lines up with those X's. This will be marking the spot that we will punch a hole in where our laces will be threaded through. Now it's time to use the scary looking tool. Now don't worry you guys, it's not as intimidating as it looks. Basically, it's just a leather hole puncher. So I'm going to align the hole punch with the marking that I just made and go ahead and attempt to hole punch through the leather. Now it can be very difficult sometimes, unless you're like really strong, which I like to think I am, but not strong enough to punch a hole through leather. I used my poker tool to help me, and then if it's still having an issue coming out, you can always use your scissors to just cut it out so that you can have that circular marking for your shoelace to thread through. Now the tool that I'm using has different options for the sizes of holes that you want to use. So in the previous step, I used a medium-sized one, but this time I'm going to use the smallest one that they have on there, the little itty-bitty teeny tiny one, and I'm going to poke holes that align with the slits for my tassels. Basically, this just decorates it, and I guess you don't have to do this option if you don't want to, but I think it makes it look really cute and fun and festive, as you guys can see. Alright you guys, so once you have finished doing that to all the different parts of the pattern, go ahead and line them up by sides. The biggest tassels on bottom, the smallest on top. Align those holes that you punched in the 2 corners, so that way you can thread your laces through, and voila! That is the DIY for you. Now for my favorite part, I get to show you guys how I styled them. So to start, I have my brand new DIY Converse that I'm wearing, along with these adorable dark wash ripped jeans that I paired with a gray and white checked top that I tied together. And then to top it all off with a pop of color, I have a green bomber on top, because you guys know how much I love a pop of color, obviously because I have pink hair and I just love color so much. And I love this outfit just because it's casual, comfy, and it's so cute. This next outfit is my dressy outfit. So this is what I like to call my snazzy holiday outfits. So I was looking for some nicer holiday clothes, and I found this adorable white dress with these super cute sleeves to pair with my brand new DIY Chuck Taylors. And then of course you guys know me, and I have to add my pop of color. So I added it by adding a bright red bag to match my bright red lips, and that is my nicer holiday outfit to pair with my brand new DIY Chuck Taylors.
Thank you so much to Converse for helping make our dreams come true. It's finally happened. And hopefully you guys are inspired by the DIYs that we did with our Chuck Taylors, and you guys can go get your own and customize your own Chuck Taylors. And I'll be so excited. Now if y'all haven't subscribed to our channel, be sure to click the button right over here. If you want to see more of our DIY videos, click the box right up here. And that's all we have for you guys today. So we'll see you next week. Bye! Mwah.